Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Max with BuzzTox, and I'm here with Trev. What's going on, Trev?
Woo! Super excited for this, by the way.
I know, I'm super pumped too. So we're gonna be doing something very different. We're not gonna be doing gaming this talk. This is actually gonna be a Game of Thrones talk. We're gonna be talking theories. We're gonna be talking predictions. We're gonna be talking everything that we think is gonna happen in the new Game of Thrones season 6, which airs this Sunday. I'm actually so pumped. I actually can't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's unbelievable. So Trev, give me a glimpse into like when did you start watching Game of Thrones, and like what does Game of Thrones compare to you with like other shows or other like forms of like entertainment? Because the reason me and Trevor are doing this is because we're huge entertainment guys. We love media, we love movies, we love television, all that kind of stuff. So what do you think, Trev?
So how did I get into it?
Yeah.
So I guess it goes back to 2011, right? I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, another HBO show, and I was just kind of catching up on old episodes because the new season was coming out that fall. So as I was on HBO, I caught like a commercial for this Game of Thrones show. Literally never heard of it ever in my life before. Nobody was talking about it yet, at least in my circles. And then boom, I saw some promo with like knights and all this stuff, and I was hooked. I watched the first premiere episode, and it just got me. Like it got so many others.
Yeah, no, what was crazy with me is Trev got me on it, but so I didn't know you started from the beginning.
Yeah.
I started after season 5. I started watching them as season 5 was airing. And Trev was telling me about it because we were working together and he wouldn't stop talking about it. And then I got the first season bootleg off one of my coworkers, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was hooked. So I ended up buying. I spent like how much did I spend? I spent like
Your
$200.
entire paycheck, it seemed like.
Yeah, my whole paycheck. I just wasted it on all Game of Thrones Blu-rays. So then I just plowed through it and watched all the Blu-rays. I freaking loved it, and it's my favorite piece of media ever.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Like it is. I think I've watched it 5 times or 6 times. That's like 50 hours times 6.
Wow.
Of my life wasted.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I'm obsessed, and I love the whole, like, I can't watch anything like it. Like Breaking Bad, to me, like, I don't like it as much because there's something about the medieval time frame. Like, I love like the medieval like fantasy kind of thing, and now I'm like absolutely hooked.
Well, that's what it was like. So when I was when I was watching, I was sort of by myself because nobody knew about this show. It was so new, and it had a fantasy air about it. So it was kind of a tough sell to tell everybody around me, hey, like, you gotta check this show. It's amazing. Forget the fantasy stuff. Forget any of that stuff. It's an amazing show. Just check it out. And I told you for 5 years to check it out, and it wasn't something that was coming up on your radar.
Yeah.
And I had sort of like pollinated Breaking Bad with you guys, and like it spread through your whole family, and now it seems to be doing the same with Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, what's weird about it? I was 14 when it first came out, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm 20 now. It's actually unbelievable. But yeah, so then I introduced it to a bunch of people, and it's a freaking phenomenon.
Yeah, it's beyond.
So let's get down to business. I want to know, I want to get a general look at like us and what we think of the show in general, because we're playing catch up. We're 5 seasons behind. We haven't talked about it at all. So just give me a glimpse on like what are your favorite characters. I know we have different opinions on like who we like, and that's what's so great about the show.
Well, I think there's some overlap here, definitely, but I would say my all-time favorite character. It's hard to say because it's like obviously we have Jon's like almost like the go-to for everyone, but I think you're supposed to like Jon, so I'm gonna skip over that entirely. It's like
I even think with Jon Snow, like not everyone I think is in Jon's camp.
I don't know, man. I think everyone's a Johnny boy, for lack of a better term. But no, Arya is one of my favorite. I don't have a favorite because I like so many.
I remember you saying
for different
Varys,
reasons.
which I thought was funny. You really like Varys.
Yeah, Varys is really cool. It's almost hard to place. So I would say my top 3 would be Arya, Tyrion, in no particular order. Tyrion and Bran. And Bran is actually more of a recent thing because of what's coming with him.
Yeah, and you're like love the magic.
Yeah, the more magic for me, the merrier. And I really think his story is going to be sort of like where everyone else's story comes from. And we'll get probably into that a little bit later.
Yeah. No, with me, I was like strangely like fortunate. My two favorite characters that I picked off, I got from episode 1 of season 1. Literally when the first episode, I loved Jon Snow and I loved Arya. And they've always been my favorites, and they've luckily gone through the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And also Tyrion. But like Tyrion's one of those guys, like I would be depressed for months if Arya died. But I feel like Tyrion dying, like it's terrible, but I feel like I'd be okay with it because I feel like it would serve the story.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think he'll make it to the last chapters, definitely.
No, and then I find with like and it's based on the storylines. Like I love Jon, so I find that, and I love his storyline, so I find that I love characters that are in his storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Arya doesn't have many, like Jaqen H'ghar, but like
Well, that was
Jaqen's
so
cool.
say.
Jaqen's really cool, but he's not one of my favorite characters. But like people like Sam, I love Sam. Like Sam is probably like one of my favorite characters, and he's gotten from a secondary character to a primary character, and now he's a main character in season 6. And Ygritte, I cried like a baby when Ygritte died, man.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, and then Tormund, I really like Tormund. Tormund's really sick now. I'm starting to like him more and more.
Well, see, this is how I had it. So Jon was like the obvious. So Jon, Arya, Tyrion, and Bran are my top tier dudes. But I was also going to say Bronn, amazing character. And Jaqen H'ghar, I was going to say. I think it's awesome. I think he's going to be like a sort of like a Yoda to Arya. Yeah, and it's going to be like, it's going to be awesome. There's going to be a couple episodes where you're just going to be like, that dude's so badass. Showing her the way and stuff like that, but not by actually showing her. Get what I mean? Like just kind of telling her, and she goes out and does something cool. And then also the Hound. The Hound was an amazing character.
Yeah, Sandor Clegane. I freaking love that guy.
And it's like you hated him and then you loved him at the end. It's like amazing. They really did a really good job on his character.
Yeah, and now let's move on to kind of hated characters. I would argue I don't really have any hated characters. There's just characters that I get bored of.
See, I went the opposite way on this. I do have a couple hated.
Really? What do you hate?
Well, so I started writing this down. So I said, Cersei. I just like I feel like everyone kind of hates. You're supposed to kind of hate her.
No, I know, but it's like you love her that she's on the screen. You know what I mean?
You need a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just like I'm sort of torn. I hated her, but now like I want her to die. Like she needs to go. But I guess it serves the story how she's gonna die, or well, it remains to be seen. But
did you talk to what's it called? Did you feel bad for her with Mother's Mercy?
Not even at all.
No, there are some people who did.
What?
But for me, it's
she's
like
evil.
Like even Ramsay. Like I think like Ramsay's obviously an evil bastard, but like I don't hate him because I enjoy his part. The people that bore me or like I hate technically. Daenerys. I like Daenerys, but like I don't get what all the hype's about.
Well, see, I have a thing about that too. Like, we'll talk about that probably a little bit later on. But yeah, I would agree with you there. But I'll maybe hold my tongue on that one for a bit until we develop into this. But I was also going to mention just like the Greyjoys, they're just annoying, like including Theon. Like I know he turned around and it's going to serve as something, but it's like I don't like him. I never have. I thought he was an asshole when he was on the Starks. I thought he was an asshole when he went bad, obviously. And he's just like, and the Boltons. Obviously, you're supposed to hate the Boltons.
Yeah. No, I think like Daenerys, like, you know, she gets conflicted and like, I just compare her and Jon a lot. And I feel like in the future, we'll get into this later, but I feel like there'll be conflict between them on how to solve a problem.
Yeah.
But, and finally, just like Brienne is cool, but like, I feel like in season 5, she was definitely underused.
Oh, definitely.
She was just watching a candle, really, and she got turned down by Arya, and in the same way she got turned down by Sansa. So it's just like, okay, and then she just kind of hung out. But I feel like there's going to be more happening with her in season 6. So let's move on to season 6. So like with season 6, based on like what we know, do you have any hopes for the season that you like want to happen or you want to see used and like engaged kind of thing?
Magic. More magic. Basically, through Bran's eyes, I want to see a lot more stuff. The list goes on for what I want. But it's like I want to see through Bran because I think it's gonna be like the Yoda and Luke situation where he's learning the ropes of his abilities, but also learning the truth of what's at stake. So I think that like the magic that he's gonna do, it's a little like a lot darker than magic in this world too. So there's needs to be sacrifices and all these things. So it'll be really interesting to see how he deals with those things. The flashback, I'm really hoping is at least a full episode. I'm really hoping for a full episode of what went down before this all gets started.
See, that's where I think there's not going to be, I don't think you're going to see that. I think there's going to be little visions, and you're going to see visions of different things throughout season 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's just like, I hope we get strong character moments and character development like we always have. Because my worry, and this kind of goes into fears, is that we're off the books. So, putting my faith in the David Benioff and Daniel Weiss, it's kind of like, they've done great. So it just makes me nervous. Like, looking at Dorne to me was like, it was okay, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, what I liked about Dorne was Duran. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's true.
The Sand Snakes, I did not like at all. I thought it was kind of like a waste of time.
Yeah, they should have been a little bit more badass.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know. And then like that goes into fear. So we're off the books. But then what scares me is David Benioff and Daniel Weiss said that they have maybe 13 episodes left in total of Game of Thrones. And there was a new news that came out today that they said 10 to 15.
So they could be even less.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
So what, do you think they're going to shorten the seasons until like 6 and 6 or like 5 and 5?
So the idea was for 13 episodes it would be split like 6 and 7. But now they said 10 to 15 episodes.
What if it's like this though? What if it's less episodes but longer episodes?
I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that because the whole problem with it is production, right? It's literally impossible for them to film 10 episodes now with their schedule, the special effects. Like, they're filming in multiple locations with multiple film groups, so it's just like insane. But mainly, like, what my thought is that, take what you need to make a good story. If it takes 13 episodes to make a good story, then do that. But my worry is that they're saying, oh, okay, our actors are signed for 7 seasons, and we've been doing this for a long time, and we hardly get any time off, so let's wrap it up really quick. I'm afraid it's going to be rushed.
Yeah, there's going to be some of that, but it's like, it's so hard to say because the books aren't done. It's not like an HP situation where they stretched it out for money. They would love the money here to be able to stretch it out, it seems like. It seems like the reverse. If they had the money, they had the time, I think they would take the time. But they have a young cast, right? Yeah. Well, at least half of them are young, and that's pressing on them. And then, like, I don't know. I really don't know. You don't think there'll be longer episodes?
I don't think so, no. I think it'll always be an hour. It's just depending on how many they do.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, and another thing that bugs me is that they're rushing the author of this whole universe, right? So there's going to come a fork in the road where he's like, I don't have an answer for you. And they're going to make creative...
Oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah, who knows? You never know, right?
Yeah. No, but it's like, it's just the ongoing worry that, like, this means that season 6, like, if it means we only have one season after season 6, it kind of caught me off guard. We got to cover a lot of ground. Like, with season 5, like, I feel like there's so much more story to be told. Imagine how much shit we got to go through with season 6 to get to a finale season.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
That will come up a little bit later, like, our differences in what we think is going to happen, like, right off the bat.
Yeah.
But...
Well, it changed my views on some stuff. Like, I pushed some things forward because, like, things are going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Like, fast. So, let's get into the character arcs for season 6, like what we think is going to happen. And let's start off with Essos. So in season 5, we ended off with Tyrion. Daenerys flew off on Drogon and left Tyrion with Varys, Grey Worm, and Missandei. And they are holding off Meereen while Dany's gone.
Mm.
So what do you think Tyrion's going to have to deal with? he's in Marine. I'm sure there's going to be some terror. We've seen some terrorism in the trailer, and we've seen a red woman. So, like, where do you think they're going with that?
Well, for me now, I'm starting to think, just based on what I was thinking about today and leading up to this, I'm thinking this is like the Empire Strikes Back season. A lot of people are where they're gonna be for the final situation, right? Because they're all in like student teacher like positions. You have Bran with the Raven, right?
Yeah.
You have Jon with Melisandre, if what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Tyrion with Varys. You have all these different like student-teacher relationships here, and I really think that Tyrion's gonna be able to hold his own there, as he always does. But obviously, there's gonna be obstacles along the way. But Varys will be there, sort of guiding his hand when he makes these mistakes or needs help.
And Varys is, he's the spider. He's got his ears on anything.
He knows everything.
On everything. Do you think Varys, specifically, what do you think Varys could contribute?
He just knows. He's like the bow, and he shoots arrows, meaning he points people in the right direction. Like, he's not the one to do it. He just knows how to do it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Do you think he'll be communicating with Westeros? Like King's Landing?
I don't think you'll see that, but I think he knows how to do it. Like, you'll never see sort of what he does behind the curtain. I don't think ever. I don't think that will ever be revealed, because it's just a part of his character.
Dragons do not do well in captivity.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
So we've seen like Tyrion with Melisandre and Grey Worm, like discussing and teaching them how to rule Marine. We've also seen a terrorist attack, an explosion inside the pyramid, which makes me think obviously the Harpies are going to be coming in full force because they know that the Queen's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like, do you think that dragons will be used to solve that problem? Because I know we've seen Tyrion in the dungeons, and he was talking to Missandei and Grey Worm that dragons don't do good in cages.
Yeah.
Because he drinks and he knows things.
Yeah, so it's something that he's gonna have to deal with. He's gonna let them out and probably use them as like just protection, right? I think everyone's scared of dragons, no matter what banner you're flying there. So if he releases them, but like, I don't know. It remains to be seen, obviously. But
see, but it could also be said
don't
that
you think
the
they would
Harpies
just get out of there and leave, just like Drogon?
Well, it's like that's tricky because they're untrained dragons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's extremely risky to go in there and let out an untrained dragon. And I feel like he'd be flocked for that because I feel like they'd burn down all the Marine. Unless the Harpies want to go and try and kill the dragons, and they let them loose by accident. And that would kind of result in just chaos. Because pretty much dragons are the nuclear bombs of the medieval world.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that Tyrion, he obviously knows stuff about dragons. Do you think that he's going to be trying to train them, and maybe he'll form a bond with these dragons?
I definitely think he's gonna attempt that. Like my fear is that like a part of me would die inside if I saw Tyrion hop up on a dragon and fly away. Like that would almost end the show for me. The credibility of the show would go out the door.
Why?
Because they can't. There's no way they would be able to do that justice. They blew it with Dany for me. Already getting on that dragon. Like it looked 10 times worse than Harry Potter flying around on a dragon.
I think that's where they're going. And
oh man, I don't want to see that boy on a dragon. Oh boy.
The boy. The reason I think that is because in season 5, you see when Tyrion's on his way, he's with Varys, and he stops by a village or a town or a city, I forget what it's called, and there's a red woman there that's preaching. And she's preaching, and then she takes a sharp look at Tyrion, and Tyrion draws her attention.
We're going to meet the savior, You should have told me. Who doesn't want to meet the Savior? Come on. Let's find a brothel.
Red priests are drawn to Kingsblood.
Yeah.
And I think that further proves that Tyrion is Targaryen and is a dragon rider. The idea that he's the Mad King's son, because he had an affair with Tywin's wife. And
You mean the Mad King did?
yeah. And that's like the whole story. And then he'll form this relationship with this dragon. And that's why in the trailers for season 6, you see another red woman there. I feel like she will be there to kind of, preach to Tyrion like Melisandre has to Stannis. And will kind of push him to become, this Targaryen dragon rider, if you will, that he's prophesized to be. But I feel like that's something that would be kind of announced later, like maybe season 7. I don't know. But like I remember you saying they haven't hinted to that at all, really, right?
I haven't seen any blatant. You've watched it many more times than I have, so you could probably school me on the hints. But I don't feel like they've opened that door enough for like casual people. I don't think would be like they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, good twist, right?
Yeah.
Unless they do a full episode to the story where it all began, and they showed this somehow. You know what I mean? They showed the tension between the Mad King and Tywin and all these other things that would come together. Because maybe if he is, you would have to see. They would have to account for it, basically.
It's almost like the way for them to show that, like the only way for them to show that is through Bran. So, it becomes tricky. Like I don't think they've really put down tidbits for that story arc. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we got Tyrion holding down Meereen, and now let's go on to Jorah and Daario. So Jorah and Daario decided to leave Meereen and go find Daenerys.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at Jorah. So what are like Jorah's more motives? Obviously, he's very loyal to Dany.
Yeah.
But he's got grayscale.
Yeah, so he's got a, what do you call it? An hourglass basically over his head.
Yeah, and he's a ticking time bomb. Like, he's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be really dangerous.
What I came up with, my idea with them, they're gonna get to find her, and basically Daario either dies or gets incapacitated, leaving Jorah to challenge. Like maybe Dany's gonna get wedded like to this guy, the leader of this place,
right?
And then Jorah's gonna fight this guy, like they always said. Because even in the first season, they made it a point of, even I think it was Jorah explaining it to Dany, that there's like 10 fights at a Khal wedding, right? So I feel like they're gonna get into like a bit of a scrap, and he's gonna say shit. Like, it's on.
I really like that. Wow, that's awesome.
So
there's hints about that too, because when he was caught as a slaver with Tyrion, he said that he killed a Dothraki named Cortho.
Yeah.
But then the slaver hyped him up and said he killed the great Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
So it's almost foreshadowing him killing a Khal.
Yeah, like maybe those slavers would show up for the buddy's wedding and say like, no, this guy's legit, like we saw him. So it gets him to the front of the line to fight.
Yeah.
And,
See,
but I think he's gonna die. Obviously, maybe in that fight, or he redeems himself just as he dies, basically.
He would die with him. I always think he's gonna have a heroic death, but it's also gonna be like extremely tragic. Like he has grayscale, so he's contagious. Maybe Daario finds out about it, and maybe thinks of him as like a traitor and want to get rid of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even like with Daario, like what are Dario's intentions? He killed 3 of his like companions, if you will, to be with Dany. What
Yeah.
if he's something like the leader of the Harpies, or what if he has a role that isn't totally loyal to Dany?
Yeah, that's true too. Because it's not like he's after her, but I don't know why he wouldn't just kill her outright. Right? It seemed
Yeah.
like there had been opportunities beforehand. We'll see.
It's almost like it's almost like he's gaining power. I don't know.
It's possible, but he's a dope soldier, so I don't know. Like he's either gonna die or get incapacitated or be captured or something like that, where he can't fight because Jorah's got to have his day, right?
Yeah, that's true. And then, I feel like they're going to reunite with Dany. I feel like it's probably going to be halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're not going to rescue her. They're going to find her. And I think the whole thing is Dany's going to rescue herself. We see in the trailer Drogon is flying over the, what's it called? It's flying over Vales Dothrak, which is a Dothraki city.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? He would kind of come in there and burn them all to high heaven and save Dany.
He's a bit of a loose cannon, that one though.
Drogon?
Yeah. Like
Yeah, that's true.
we talk about characters dying, but what if maybe dragons die to add some weight to the story?
I don't think it will happen. I don't know. I just can't see like when it dies. Where do they go with that arc?
I don't know. That's for me. That's why I could care less. I only really want to see it through for Jorah. I could care less about Dany's story. It's almost too warrior princess in a story that's so gray. Do you get what I mean? Like she's too good of a character. She has no gray at all. So it's like it almost.
But she does though.
I guess.
That's where I disagree. That's why I think her and Jon have different views. Jon is trying to bring the wildlings and the crows together, whereas she's a product of her environment. They tell her to do something, and she does it. She took 10 of the slavers and burned them alive.
Yeah, but her intentions are on a different compass than Jon's. Do you get what I mean? Like she doesn't know about the pressing existential threat that's threatening all. She's out for revenge. For what she thinks is hers, but when she gets there might not be much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this makes me like ask the question. So Daenerys is at Vales Dothrak. We have an image of the dragon coming. Let's say if he burns everyone and like saves Dany, can Dany communicate with her dragons?
Only
Or
only
her
slightly.
dragons, or are her dragons in touch with her? Like they just know.
Yeah, it's like
Because in season 5 she kind of closes her eyes and focuses, and then here comes Drogon.
I don't know if she's like a dragon whisperer, but she's definitely like the owner, like a dog to a master situation. I don't know if like it hasn't really gone into dragon specifics, whether they're telepathic or whether they have like crazy sense. Because their dragons just seem like beasts in this. It's not like Tolkien's dragons that are like clever and smart and cunning and talking even.
But then that being said, is she immune to fire?
We've only seen her once be immune to fire.
And the reason why, and that's at the start of season 1, and I think that's not because she's immune to fire. I think the whole purpose of that was because it was a sacrifice. It was blood magic. Her son was sacrificed. Khal Drogo was sacrificed.
That horse was sacrificed, dear God.
Yeah, Jesus. And that kind of led her to be reborn with the dragons, because only death can pay for life, right?
Yeah.
But then, is there a it makes me think, is there a difference between,
Hey, by the way,
what?
spoiler alert.
What's that?
Spoiler alert.
No, yeah.
Like,
But then-
if you got this far,
Oh yeah, shit. We didn't even say that. Spoiler alert, guys. I'll
Amateurs.
put it for the thing. But no, so it makes me think: is wildfire the same as actual regular fire? Because maybe she's immune to wildfire, but not actual fire.
yeah, there was just definitely some voodoo going on her pyre. Like it wasn't just a regular pyre of fire, if you will. It's like there was a little bit more ritualistic stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, but then okay, so She gets out.
But here's the counter argument to that. Her name escapes me. Stannis' daughter.
Yep.
She's got king's blood. She got burnt to a crisp.
Yep.
Right? So it's not like it's protecting of them unless maybe it needs, like, maybe there's something I'm missing there.
She's not Targaryen.
Yeah, but then what was Stannis' blood? Stannis' blood works, though. We saw the Black Shadow baby thing.
Look, I think she has a part to play, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get more on track.
Sure.
She, so let's say, Daenerys gets rescued by Jorah and Daario, or one of them, depending on the situation. What do you think happens after? How do they wrap up season 6 with Daenerys?
I don't know. Like, it really depends on the duration she's gone. Because I find if Tyrion gets really comfortable being king, it will be sort of a power struggle for her to just walk back in. If he was the one that solved all the issues. You get what I mean? Like, yeah. Tyrion's sort of a good guy now. He's not as grey as he was before.
I think he's always been good. He's just had a drinking problem.
No, I think he's just always been his own guy. He's always just been sort of looking out for himself. And now it seems like his intentions are pointed in the good side, right? So I don't know. Like, it will be weird for him just to be like, yep, here's your kingdom back. So I think there'll be some tension there, or he'll be stronger than ever and be like, let's do this.
Yeah. No, yeah, true. No, I think that she would maybe get back to Marine. But I feel like they gotta be training those dragons, right? Like, they're too big. Like, you'd have to fly them.
Oh no, I really don't know. I don't want to
Westeros.
Go there.
I think they have to fly them to Westeros.
Yeah, but then where does that leave her entire army?
I don't know, but I feel like at the end of season 6, she will be at Westeros. I don't know if Tyrion. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's really, because it makes me feel like you have to jump the story forward fast because we only have a season and a bit to explain it. Yeah, I feel like she'll end up in Westeros. Because, like, what happens? Like, her story's been the same every time.
That's what I mean.
So it's like you have to mix it up. Every single season, it's been the same from her. So it's like you got to change it up. So when she gets rescued, she'll probably go back to Marine. She'll probably be with Tyrion. She'll probably help train the dragons. Probably train the dragons together. There you go. Tyrion will realize that he has an affinity, like a good relationship with one of them.
So he becomes like the dragon general.
Yeah, which would be Viserion. So he would get a former bond with Viserion. She would form a relationship with Drogon. And then there's Rhaegon, which is reserved for another character. But think about that, though. They go to Westeros while Jorah has grayscale.
I don't think Jorah's making it back from this expedition. Personal opinion.
Okay. See, I think he'll make it to Westeros, and I think his death will be crazy because I feel like he would infect so many people with his grayscale, and he'll realize that just before he died.
You think, like, they'll do him out like that, though? So
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to redeem himself so bad.
I think he'll redeem himself, but he'll realize that he infected, like, so many innocent people. Like, it'll be, like, crazy dark.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we're sticking to Essos. Let's go to Bravos. Our favorite character, Arya.
Do you hear them talking? Do any of them talk to you? No. So sad.
For this one, I really think it's just, like I said, it's the student-teacher thing. She's going to be doing dope shit for a dope master. I think it's going to be like, okay, you were not disciplined at all when I was trying to train you the last time. Now it's like, I mean business. Do it this way or you're dead, basically. And it's going to be, here, go kill this guy, go kill that guy. And I think, this is a little bit, it goes into the predictions, that her final target will be a major character from Westeros.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we're going to see her on the streets. We've seen clips, and from the trailers, she looks almost like homeless while she's blind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, there was a clip that was shown. She's training with that girl's name. I don't know her name.
I can't see.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, but who knows, man? Because there's so much deceit in that place.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like she's going to be training alone. She might make it back into the House of Black and White. That most definitely will grant her vision back.
A girl has been given a second chance. There will not be a third.
But I don't know if I don't think she'll ever commit to be a full faceless man.
No one.
I think things will get too crazy with the existential threat that she won't ever get. It's just like I said, Luke Skywalker, he doesn't get to go the full way because there's nothing there for him to do. There's no more Jedi, right? So I think it's going to be like, okay, this can't be, but really, you are a true faceless man because of you're committed to the cause, even though you have your own motivations.
See, I disagree. I think being a faceless man is totally getting rid of your motivations, and I feel like you either have to accept it or you don't. I don't think she will, and I think that will result in them trying to hunt her down.
Do you think she'll be like a renegade faceless man, get the training and leave?
100%. I think while she's blind, I hope that since she's blind, she kind of develops a warging ability where she can kind of warg like Bran. I think that'd be a cool idea to explore, where like she's kind of sitting on the streets and she gets startled because she's all of a sudden seeing out of the eyes of a pigeon or something.
Well, maybe if she can like warg into people, and maybe they recognize that as like a supreme ability.
See, that's what makes Bran. I don't think she'll get that far because I think that's what makes Bran so special.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't picture the renegade faceless man. I just picture it like shit is gonna hit the fan now. I really think this is a season of like, okay, now we know what the actual threat is, and it's these magic dudes coming down from the north, and everything else is gonna be in disarray because nothing else matters.
Yeah, I think she'll be.
Winter's coming, all that stuff doesn't matter now.
I'm just trying to. For me, it's like she's gonna be killing a target. She's gonna be getting training. Probably around episode 7, I picture her taking her training and either going to kill a contract on her own terms with Needle, or killing on the Faceless Men terms. I actually feel like, this is my prediction, episode 7, I think she's going to leave as Arya Stark, not as a Faceless Man, and I feel like they're going to chase her down. And I feel like she's going to be going after a big target, like Jaime Lannister, for example. So what's cool about that is you like Arya, but also we've grown to like Jaime.
Yeah.
So it'll make it interesting. And with Arya, like I have security with her because I know she's gonna live. In season 3, Melisandre tells her that they'll meet
I
again.
see a darkness in you. And in that darkness, eyes staring back at me. Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. Eyes you'll shut forever. We will meet again.
But this is another counter argument to my thing. She said that she'll see Arya again, but with blue eyes, green eyes, and brown eyes, referring to her being a Faceless Man.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like I think the contract will bring her over to Westeros. And I don't know about Jaime. I have a feeling it's gonna be, well, this goes into predictions and stuff like that, so I won't jump ahead. But I have a feeling it's gonna be either Cersei or it's gonna be the Sparrow, because he's gonna be hard to get to. And it's gonna be vice versa. It's the High Sparrow called in the hit because they can't get to each other. It's like almost two castles in the same kingdom now. Cersei's putting the hit on the Sparrow, and the Sparrow's put the hit on Cersei. So it's like it's one of those two is my guess or prediction for who she's got to kill.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe she ends up getting both.
Oh yeah, it's hard to pick out the like motivations. So like, why would Jaqen want this person dead? But they can also be paid off. So it's like they're like really expensive assassins.
Well, that's what I mean. Lannister's got a lot of money. Well, maybe not at this point in time.
A lot of borrowed money.
Yeah, but so does the Faith. It seems like they have control now. So, if they remove the Queen now, they have all the power. So there's going to be some high stakes, and I think that's a really cool story arc for this whole season. Is the Sparrows versus or the Faith of Justice, I should say, versus sort of what's left of the Lannisters.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like, yeah, so finishing off with Arya, it's like I know she'll get to Westeros. I know she'll meet up with Melisandre and possibly Jon Snow.
You
Um,
think in this season?
I'm thinking, I don't know. It's a tough call. No, I actually, you know what? No, I don't think so. Not this season. I think next season. But I think she's getting to Westeros this season.
Yeah, I think she'll be
Um,
like boots on the ground in Westeros, but I think more in King's Landing.
yeah, exactly. And so let's just talk quickly about like Jaqen H'ghar. I was wondering about Jaqen H'ghar because is he actually dead?
No.
I wanted to talk about this because at the end of season 5, it's very confusing. She peels off, like, he drinks the potion or whatever the fuck it is, or poison, and he falls down. She peels off Jaqen's face until she sees her face, and then Jaqen's all of a sudden behind her and took over what's her face. So I don't even get it. Is it many people taking over the Jaqen persona so they can relate to Arya? I don't even get how it works.
I don't know, like, I can't explain that or articulate what I think happened there, other than I think Arya was poisoned from the get-go. Like, maybe when he grabbed her shoulders, like, he's got every type of poison there is. And that
Yeah.
wasn't her actually seeing it, it was just her hallucinating, because that's what he wanted to do.
No, that's what I'd prefer.
I really
don't
think
that
Jaqen
whole-
H'ghar's not dead. Plus, I think I saw him in like a post-production thing, like talking about, oh yeah, I loved it. I love filming in Spain.
No, I'm not talking about like I'm talking about Jaqen H'ghar isn't a character. It's like an idea. Like a person, the person who is wearing Jaqen H'ghar's face died. So another faceless man took on the persona of Jaqen H'ghar. So Jaqen H'ghar is always going to live because there's always going to be a faceless man taking on his persona.
So like she has the ability to be Jaqen H'ghar. You mean?
That's really deep, but I don't think so. I think there's still like a gender issue. Like you can't switch from a man to a woman and a woman to a man.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's like, you mean the head of the faceless men? We know.
Yeah.
We know that there's more than just one person that runs the show there, or like operates. Running is a different story, because we see the girl, I don't know her name, and Jaqen in the same frame, plus people like carrying bodies and stuff like that. So it's like a cult, right?
Yeah.
So you're thinking leadership can change, but the leader is always named Jaqen H'ghar, and you never quite know who it is because he can don any face.
I'm saying that you don't know if Jaqen H'ghar is dead because Jaqen H'ghar can be taken on by any faceless person.
But it could be hundreds of different people.
Yeah, but what
Well, not
throws me off
hundreds,
about the
but-
whole thing is voice. Like, I never understood, if you put on a mask, it doesn't change your voice. But then how come sometimes, I don't know if it's the show's inconsistency, but how come sometimes when you put on a face, they're speaking in the face's actual voice and not their own?
Maybe there's some untold magic. I feel like HBO made a very conscious decision to sort of water down the magic in this show for casual watchers. So I don't know. I haven't read the books past A Feast for Crows, I guess. Is that even right? Is that the name of the book?
I don't read books.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, if there's supposed to be some sort of magic there, as well as just wearing the face. Like, it seems ritualistic enough that there could be more than just putting on a dude's face.
Yeah, true. So that's Arya's storyline. Let's go down to Dorne in Westeros. I want to talk about him really quickly. It was my least favorite story of season 5.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, this one's gonna be easy, and then I ended up writing a lot.
Yeah, but then the one redeemable quality of the whole thing was Duran. I love Duran. He's just really well portrayed by the actor.
Mm-hmm.
But I know from the books, Duran has a plan. Like a really good plan. I don't read the books, but he has some kind of plan for maybe taking revenge on the Lannisters. I'm not sure. But all the book readers are pissed off because his idea or his plan was a pile of shit. He didn't have a plan. His plan was to make peace.
Mm-hmm.
But now, Oberyn's wife went out and got Marcella killed, and now his son is on a boat with Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
So he's fucked. His heir is going to King's Landing, where they just killed their daughter. So I don't know what part he has to play in season 6. I don't know what he can do. So what do you think about that?
So this is where I'm torn, because it's like, we know Jaime goes back to King's Landing, right? It's obvious he's not going to turn the boat around and kick some ass because he's outnumbered. But it almost seems realistic for him to go back to King's Landing, bury his daughter, deal with the craziness of what's going on with Cersei, and then reconciliate with the faith, like whatever's going on there, and then turn around and go back at Dorne after all that's going on.
You
think
right? He's gonna go back to Dorne?
I don't know. What else do you think he's gonna do? So
I think Dorne is done. I just don't know what they're gonna do in the story anymore. Jaime's definitely not going back. But it's like, I just don't know what they can do. Like Trystane, like on the boat. Like, I think in episode 1, Jaime's gonna try and kill Trystane, but then he won't.
No, I don't think Jaime's gonna do it. I think Cersei, out of rage, has plans for Trystane. So I don't know. Like, she's just gonna be trying to kill anybody.
I think Jaime's gonna try and kill him, but then Bronn's gonna stop him.
But I think this is why I don't think Jaime's trying to kill him, because I think he literally saw that he had feelings for her. So he's like, I know how you feel, man, and it was my daughter. Like, he knows his true intent. It's not like he wanted her dead.
Yeah, but it's more of a revenge. Like, you kill.
I know, but I don't think
daughter
Jaime has that. I think he's done with that shit, and I think he realizes he kind of caused all this shit, and he's gonna reconciliate with, like, we can't keep doing this. Like, all my kids are dead, basically, because of this stupid back and forth garbage. And Cersei's not going to hear it, and she's going to want to do it, and crazy and back and forth craziness this whole season, and I think it's really going to shake them.
Yeah, and I think finishing off with Dorne, I think that I know where they're going to be important. I think at the end of season 6, I think you're going to see Dany wash up on the shores of Dorne. The Martells and the Targaryens have always been really good allies. Oberyn Martell was married to Oberyn's sister was married to Rhaegar Targaryen.
His sister that got killed by the mountain.
Yeah, so they have a really good history and a good relationship. I feel like that's the first place Tyrion will tell Dany to go and make allies in Westeros. But Jaime's getting out of there, so he has Trystane. So when he's in King's Landing, what do you think? So you already told me a story arc. You think he's gonna try and confront the High Sparrow, which we've seen in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you think with him? You don't know?
I don't know. I feel like he's gonna be really torn. He's gonna try to do the peaceful thing, but he's like, it's just madness. It's really madness in King's Landing right now.
Yeah, the thing with Jaime, I find, is that he's pretty much Cersei's bitch.
Yeah, but I think this is the final line in the sand. Like, he's gonna be like, what? Like, this is so useless. Everyone we love just dies a very horrible death when we try and do it your way. And I really think it's like, this is jumping the gun, but I really have a feeling. Well, no, this might be supported. I think he's gonna kill her this season.
This season?
Yeah. I almost think it might be sort of accidentally, like out of like passion or something. Like he like snaps, or an opportunity comes where he can, like, if I kill her now, like, I can fix 10 problems by killing her now. He's just gonna have it with her.
I feel like that's an ending thing. I don't think he's gonna kill her in season 6.
I'll come back to that. Make sure we come back to that, because I got some supporting arguments for that.
I feel like he's gonna be. He still loves Cersei, even though there's resentment between them. I think we've seen in the trailers she wants him to go be the front of the Lannister army, because that's really where he does belong now that Tywin's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we do see him in the trailers. He's at a Lannister camp. And I think Bronn is going to be his companion. He's going to follow him through it all. And you've also seen the Lannisters with the Freys. We haven't seen the Freys since season 3, I believe. At the Twins.
Yeah.
So for some reason, it seems like they're gathering allies. I'm just trying to figure out why.
But see, like, this is where I get torn. So if we're still fighting wars over old disputes, it all doesn't matter anymore. Because if, like, it's so obvious that Jon's coming back. So it's not even a question anymore. So when Jon comes back, he's just going to be plowing south, telling everybody, ringing the bell of the White Walkers are coming. The White Walkers are coming. So it's not going to be long before everybody now realizes, shit, these fucking beasts are coming down south. None of this shit matters. So things need to now, loose ends with this bullshit literal Game of Thrones need to get sorted out. So that's why I feel like Cersei making all these really shitty decisions is going to get Tommen killed, is going to get, like, everyone around them killed. And it's just, like, Jaime's going to be like, you are, like, literally the worst person in this whole thing. You've been doing all this to yourself, basically. And I don't know, like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I still think he's going to kill her.
Yeah, and I feel like with Cersei, she does make really stupid decisions.
Well, this is what I said.
It's like what Tywin said.
She's
not
got
as smart as she thinks she is.
100% bloodlust now. Once her daughter's body washes up on the shores with Jaime, that's the final, like, how brutal can this be?
I don't think that's the final. I think the final is Tommen. And we've had a vision into that on the start of season 5. The witch said gold will be their crowns and gold their shrouds, which refers to all of her kids are going to die before her.
Yeah.
I think Tommen is going to be the last straw. And I think there's been a lot of imagery, I think, over the shows where like 5 times she says that she's going to burn the whole city to the ground for her kids.
Yeah.
Which you can't blame her. She's a mother. But I feel like after all 3 kids have gone, I think she's going to be insane. I think she's going to try and just, fuck it. She's just going to try and burn down King's Landing.
So what about, would you consider Jaime killing her by not saving her?
Yeah, and that's another thing. So another part of the prophecy is a queen more beautiful will replace her.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that asks the question, who is that? Is that Margaery, or it could be Sansa?
Or
you never know.
It could be Dany.
It could be Dany too. So there's 3 main possibilities there. But the main one is they pretty much say her little brother, which they call the Valonqar, which is High Valyrian, will strangle her to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a prophecy.
That could be Tyrion too, though.
It could be Tyrion, but I think that's what they want you to think. They think that Tyrion is going to be the one to strangle her, but it's not. I think it's going to be Jaime, and I think it's going to be because of this reason. Like, she's going to be crazy, and Jaime's going to kill her. And he's also said in the show he wants to die in the arms of the woman he loves. And I think that's pretty much what will happen, is they'll do a double suicide pact. I think he'll kill
like a Romeo and Juliet style.
He'll kill Cersei, and then he'll kill himself. And I think that's how their story will end. But this isn't in season 6. This is probably season 7.
I don't know, though, because, like, I feel like there's going to have to be a whole season dedicated to the war with the White Walkers. I feel like once that... We'll get into it.
And then, so quickly, let's look at Margaery and Loras. They're all caged up.
Do you want me to be blunt right now?
What's that?
You want me to be blunt right now?
Yeah.
Both dead.
Both dead?
Yep.
I was thinking Loras is 100% dead. Don't know about Margaery.
I say, this is what I put. Margaery and Loras are released, but are found guilty by the order and killed.
Would they really be killed for that, though? Like, Margaery just lied.
Yeah, because I think Cersei's going to make a really bad decision. And it's going to end up getting them killed. She loses, what the fuck is their house called? What's their house?
Tyrell?
Yeah, they lose the Tyrells, they walk away. Jaime's now down to just, like, pretty much the Lannister army. and anything that's left in the King's Landing, that's one of the bad decisions that she makes, is not trying to intervene. Tommen then totally turns his back on his mom. He ends up getting killed some other way down the line. I just don't see them making it out of this. Because it's not like Tom is going to be king for Margaery to replace her.
No, that's true. That's true. But then that makes me think of, like, the High Sparrow. If both are dead, I actually like, even though he's a religious nut and I don't like religious nuts, I like the High Sparrow.
Well, he's definitely a good villain.
He is, but at the same time, he's just. He'll never do something that isn't in line with, like, he won't touch you if you don't do anything wrong. And I feel like he's fair based on the seven gods, which he follows.
Yeah. So, what do you think in the fates of Margaery and Loras are?
So yeah, Loras I think is toast. I don't know how he'd die though. Like, maybe I feel like he would confess, he would get out, and I feel like the same would be with Margaery. I feel like they'd both confess, and then they would team up with Cersei, and I feel like Loras would fight against the Sparrows, and I feel like they'd kill Loras in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and all this is going down, and the reason that Cersei was trapped in the first place is because of Petyr Baelish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So right now he's with Cersei in King's Landing. I believe that's where we last saw him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the trailers we've seen him in snow, which kind of suggests that he's going to be going back to Winterfell.
Yeah.
What do you think Baelish's arc's going to be in this season?
Always taking the back roads. He never takes, like, never seems like he's, like, on the march, like, front and center. You know what I mean? Like, he's always just, he gets somewhere and you didn't really see how he got there, basically.
What's crazy with him is that he's actually caused the War of the Five Kings. Like, he's caused so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's written so well where he's actually even 5 steps ahead of the person watching the show.
I almost feel like this is sort of like a side thing. It's almost always been him versus Varys. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's almost like a rival, like a cold war going on between them to see who can gain the most influence.
Yeah, 100%. And Varys is a strong supporter of the Targaryens. He always has been. Even in season 1, you see him talking to try and get a Targaryen on the throne.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Baelish, I think, he said it in the show, chaos is a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And he's creating chaos so he can climb up and up and up. He already has the veil, and I feel like he's going to try and implement the plan that he mentioned to Cersei. With the Battle of the Bastards, we're going to talk about this later, but Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton, I feel like his thoughts are that he's going to come in with the veil and pick up and team up against the person who's losing.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe will negotiate, and then he'll try and be the Warden of the North.
Yeah, but who would want to be the Warden of the North in this situation that's coming down for them?
Nobody thinks about the situation, dude. It's land.
I know, but I feel like once word breaks of the real threat, all the shit goes up the fan and everyone is heading south.
Everyone is heading south, but you still want to, keep your lands and shit.
Yeah, but it's like it won't really make a difference at that point. I know, like, that's the whole premise of the show. I just feel like it's, why would you want anything other than just to survive? Plus, the whole thing is the winter's coming, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, okay, we dodged them here, let's go back up to where we are. It's like, no. Anything that they run into, they're going to turn into their undead army and just be bringing it south.
Yeah.
But this is the last, for me, and my theories that go, this is the last season of, like, Game of Thrones, of this back and forth war. But it's slowly, as we approach episode 10, will be, priorities are now pointed at...
to the White Walkers.
Yeah, because nothing else matters.
Yeah, and that all starts at the Wall.
Yeah.
So let's move over to the Wall with Lady Melisandre. So, I take everything that she says as gospel, and I don't think a lot of people do. I feel like everything she sees is true. I just feel like she can be misguided.
Yeah, she misinterprets because she's
reading.
like a apprentice. It seems like still.
Yeah, so I feel like she's misguided in seeing these theories. Like I mentioned before, her and Arya. I feel like just because she said that, that means that's a guarantee that she's going to be seeing Arya again. If you look at all of her predictions when she's in the flames talking up to Stannis, there'll be a fight for Winterfell, all that stuff. She's actually right. She predicted it. It's happening in this season. But then how do you think that goes with her resurrecting Jon Snow? And do you think
it's
she'll
so
do it?
obvious that it's her? Like, I don't know if everybody feels as obvious as that. Like he's coming back. It's not like we're wishful thinking, right? It's for me. It's almost like common knowledge. Like it's not even an assumption. It's just we know he's coming back. It's just when they're gonna put it in this season. And
yeah.
And it's I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna do. I don't know if she's gonna pull off. She's gonna pull some magic to get them out of the situation that they're in right at the beginning, or wherever they start with their arc. I don't know if they're gonna animate his body right there and then move on, or bring his body, kind of drag along with them a little bit so they can get somewhere where they can do this dark magic stuff. So,
well, I feel like Shireen has a big role to play in this. She got burned and sacrificed, and I feel like she did it without knowing. She actually sacrificed Shireen. She was told to sacrifice Shireen, but it wasn't for Stannis. It was actually for Jon.
yeah.
The whole reason she would sacrifice Shireen, which is King's blood, is to bring Jon back to life. Only dead can pay for life. Death can pay for life. But it's like she would bring him back like Beric Dondarrion, because that's what he kind of told her how he did it in season 3. But that's the thing with Jon's resurrection. There are many different ways I think that he could be brought back. I feel like they want you to believe it's Melisandre, which makes me think that it's not going to be Melisandre. Maybe she fails, and then they end up burning Jon's body. But Jon actually wouldn't end up burning. It would be the same magic that we talked about earlier with Dany and her dragons. There was a sacrifice, King's blood. All these different scenarios lets the Targaryen Jon Snow be reborn as a Targaryen unburnt by fire.
Yeah.
So that's like an equal possibility. I almost prefer that because that would really show who Jon is.
Now, I saw something. Maybe you can clear this up for me. Does his eyes change color when he dies?
No, it's the way it is in the books. He calls ghost, so you assume that he's warging. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're going down that route with Jon.
Okay.
Unless at the start of, unless you see his eyes do that in season 6, but I doubt it.
No, I thought in season 5 when they're zooming in, they like change a little bit.
No,
Not like a warg eyes, but like they change in color.
I don't think they do.
Okay.
But
So-
yeah, and then there's Bran.
Well,
So Bran could bring back Jon.
Bran can bring back Jon. I just feel like geographically everything's so spread out. So if we're talking about a dead body, bringing him somewhere else is not the best thing, right? Like he's
Yeah.
gonna be a corpse. So I don't know. I really think it's gonna happen somewhere close. Because do you think he's gonna wake up and say, "Fuck you, Blackwatch," and go in and like try and kill him, or he's just like, "You guys are like, okay, I am a traitor. Like I'm out of here, right? Like there's nothing left for me here." And those guys' fates are left to the White Walkers, basically.
Yeah, see, that's the tricky part. It's hard to really tell.
Because I don't think he'll be out for revenge. I think he's out to sort of save the world, and he's just like, "I'm done with you guys. You guys literally stabbed me in the back. If you guys don't want to be a part of my cause, then that's fine."
Well, he'd be cleared from his vows, right? Because technically he did die. But then it's like, how would Bran resurrect him, right? Like he's at a Weirwood Tree. He could do some like magic avatar shit and like touch the tree and like magically bring him back to life. But then we have to make sure that we know that only death can pay for life. Because if Bran resurrects him, it makes me feel like there's no kind of consequences.
What's the red priest's name?
Melisandre?
No. The guy.
Beric Dondarrion?
No, that's the guy he resurrects. It's like,
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant earlier.
yeah, but what's his name? Kieran?
Oh, I don't even know,
The
man.
dude with the man bun, basically.
Yeah.
He said she asked how did he do it. He's like, all I did is ask. Right? What if Bran's watching this whole situation?
And he asks.
Someone asks, and the Raven shows him how it's done.
Yeah, but then it's like, yeah, that's true.
And he
And
can
then what's funny
bargain
about
to anybody.
Is there's so many different types of resurrection, and it's all done by different gods. There's like you can resurrect with ice and be a White Walker. You can resurrect with fire as a Targaryen, which makes me think like everyone thinks that like, oh, Jon's gonna wake up and be changed, and everyone thinks he's gonna be changed. I feel like Jon is like a special Jesus character because he's made of both ice from the first men and from fire from Targaryen. Which makes him Azor Ahai, the savior. But I feel like it also gives him a lot of perks. Like I feel like being resurrected by fire or by ice, I feel like he's kind of immune to it in a way.
Yeah, he's unscathed. And like he might have scars where he got shanked, but it's not like he's like some like. I know they got the Lady Stoneheart where she totally changed like personalities and stuff like that. But it's yeah, Jon's Jon. He just has now different intentions.
Yeah. So then, what episode do you think he'll drop? He'll wake up.
My fear is the first episode. I don't want him. Like we had this discussion, a very long discussion, on this because
Way
we have
too long of a discussion.
yeah. I really hope he doesn't wake up first episode because I really feel, and I used this term before, if they wake him up the first episode, there is no weight to his death. Like it almost is pointless that they killed him.
See, I feel like the point is that he's reborn as a Targaryen, and it shows you his importance, and it shows, I don't know, it's like a step he needed to take. He needed to kill the boy to let the man be born. But I know it's kind of weird if you're watching the Blu-rays and you watch him die in season 10, in episode 10, and then you immediately after you watch him be resurrected the same episode. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird.
Well, I was just thinking, this is kind of like right now, just thinking, you see that shot of sort of it pan in on Castle Black and goes right to his body.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of like a fly-in, would you say? So what if...
Like a crow, yeah.
Yeah. So what if Bran flew in to check on Jon, saw his dead body, and then, boom, cue the flashback episode to kind of show everything that's going on behind the scenes with him. Shows why he's important, and why he needs to be resurrected, basically.
Yeah, and then it will be like the head honcho guy, the king fucker, whatever his name is. He
Blood Raven or whatever his name is.
Yeah, the Blood Raven. He'll be like, he has a part to play in the wars to come, and then they'll like resurrect Jon because they can see, his importance. But yeah, it's debatable whether it's like the first episode or maybe the third episode. I don't know, but going forward, like he has story. He's gonna have to rally the Bannermen, and he's gonna have to go to war with Ramsay, Battle of the Bastards. So it's one of those things where it's like you could put him off till episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
Unless there's more story to tell that I don't know of. In that case, you need to bring him back episode 1.
You really think that they're going to square off?
I feel like they will, yeah. It's like the classic cinema, like they square off.
You don't think Theon will kill him at all?
Oh.
Like for what he did to him and all that stuff?
I don't think so. I have a different thing with Theon. But yeah, I feel like they're going to be rallying the Bannermen, and we've seen Davos rallying a ton of Bannermen. He's kind of taken that role.
Make no mistake. The dead are coming.
And he's familiar with it with Stannis by like going to Bravos and getting them to lend them money, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's a good right-hand man.
Yeah, so we've seen him go to like House Mormont and trying to get them to, fight with them. And he's going to be going around rallying the Bannermen. And I feel like Davos is going to meet up with Sansa. And I feel like that's going to be what they're both going to be doing. I feel like Sansa's going to be going around, and she's going to be rallying the Bannermen as well as Davos. And we've seen him defending Jon's body. So I'm just curious between his relationship with Melisandre, because he hates her.
I think he's smart enough to know, though, that she's important no matter what. So this is what I put essentially. So Davos tags along with her, at least for now, but the whole time giving her like the serious stink eye,
Serious
like
stink eye, yeah.
the entire time, like you
Yeah.
fucking bitch, like all the whole way.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
exactly. That was be like,
Do you think he
killed
finds out that she did that? It seems like he sort of
Yeah.
like there's a clip where he sees like, oh shit, like someone got burnt here.
like, you killed Shireen, and she'll be like, he has a part to play in the wars to come. Save Jon Snow, and he'll be like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna be a little bit more enraged than just that.
No, I know. Yeah, totally. But yeah, I feel like they're gonna be there fighting, and I think Davos is gonna be in the fight too. But luckily for Sam got to escape, and is going to the Citadel.
Yeah, Old Town, right?
Yeah, he's going to Old Town.
So for Sam, I don't know. Like I would love to see Sam. Sam's an awesome character, but I really think that we won't see Sam until he gets there. Because
No, I think
if we
think
flip
it's-
that hourglass over, we don't have much time here. He's got to go there. He's got to study up and learn how to make dragonglass. He's got to learn all this stuff that he needs to learn before the existential threat. I know he's the furthest south. I think Old Town's one of the furthest south points in Westeros. So it's like he's kind of safe, but I don't think they're going to be checking in with him until he
I
gets
feel like
there.
they will. I feel like he's made primary character status. I think he's going to be going with Gilly, and he's going to be going by boat. And I think on his way, I think he's going to travel on land a bit. And crazy theory, I think he's going to see Sandor Clegane. I think he's going to see the Hound.
Fuck the king.
Yeah. Well, but
Drop the mic. Yeah, I think he's going to see Sandor Clegane. I think you're going to see him, and I think he's going to be kind of revived.
yeah, like he never died but sick, and maybe Sam helps him out and carries him down to Old Town.
But that's all I know about it. That's all I think. But I think that, Sam doesn't know who the Hound is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be a really crazy nod to us, being like, holy hell, like what? And Sam would see him. And then I think he's also going to go to Hornhill, which is where his family is. So you're going to see like his dad, which is has been like a prick to him,
Yeah.
and his brother, and you're going to see like that relationship, whatever. I think you're going to see Sam grow a pair of nuts and kind of tell his family who's boss or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, what do you show when he's at the Citadel? Like, I don't know where you go with that.
He just goes full on Hermione Granger into the library, like learning everything he can.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, that Sam is an important character for the same reason. It's like reading between the lines. When he got attacked by the White Walker with Gilly, it's almost like the crows. There were so many crows, and you're like, why the fuck are there so many crows? It's because the Blood Raven was watching him,
Mm-hmm.
and the Blood Raven was warning him, watch out, there's a White Walker coming.
Yeah.
And he was kind of there watching the whole thing, which kind of shows Sam's importance and his role to play in the wars to come.
But we also have seen seasons where important characters aren't even seen the entire season.
Yeah, Bran.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Sam is where like, if we're talking chess pieces, a lot of these people are in their final spots on the board. You're going to see them die or make one last move to the place where they're going to die. They're in getting ready to checkmate
Yeah.
in their story.
But then it's like, let's see if Sam solves how to kill White Walkers, whatever. Like, he already knows his Valyrian Steel and Dragonglass.
Mhm.
So obviously it's going to be Dragonfire too. But how the hell does he tell that? He's like across the world.
I'm
He's
trying to
not
think
gonna
of
come
this.
all the way back to the wall.
I'm trying to think of this. So that's why I asked you this question actually earlier today. I said, did Jon kill a White Walker with his blade, or did he kill him with a dragonglass blade? And it was his blade. I ended up watching that clip. It was fucking amazing. Watch Hard Home again. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because of the steel?
It's a steal because it
Or
all comes back to dragon.
Is it his blood?
No, it's not his blood.
You don't think it has anything to do with it?
No. But then that's his, like, why did the White Walker take an interest in him? But I think that, what's it called? Yeah, so Valyrian Steel. I think everything that can be used against the White Walkers is dragon related.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Dany's so important. That's why her dragons are here. Maybe that's why the White Walkers are pissed off in the first place. Because their nuclear bomb was just born with Dany.
Yeah.
So Valyrian steel, I think it's crafted by Dragonfire.
I was thinking
That's why the Valyrians were so high tech. Remember when they went to Valyria and Tyrion and Jorah faced the Stone Men?
yeah.
Their cities are so much more advanced because I think they learned how to craft using Dragonfire, and I think Dragonfire is what kind of brings all these like powerful weapons that are able to fight them because it's fire. It's a fire weapon that's used to kill.
Yeah,
The what?
and the Valyrians did themselves in by the sounds of it, using too much high tech shit for the time.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that being said, like, talking about Hardhome, like, why did the Night's King take an interest in Jon?
Well, because he was the only one that bested another White Walker.
See, I think there's more to that. I think
Well, yeah,
it goes to, it's like the same reason why Tyrion had the look with the Red Witch. It's almost like he's seeing something there. Whether, I don't know if Jon's going to become a White Walker at the end of this. I don't know what, but he could be seeing kind of like the first men bloodline that he has that, you know, the White Walkers are kind of made from.
well, he sent that dude down, basically, to test him, because Jon was going back to get the like they didn't know what he was going in to get. Maybe they can sense. No, I don't think so. I don't think they can sense dragon glass or something like that. I think he's just like, why is this one guy and the other guy going back into the hut to send down dope icicle spear dude, and he proves himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the White Walkers. I think that you can only make whites. You know how they've been making whites with the babies, Craster's babies?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can only make White Walkers out of first men, first bloodline people. And I think that's what happened to Benjen. I think Benjen was made a White Walker, and I think you're going to see him like literally near the end, and I think Jon might end up fighting him or something. But yeah, I think they can only convert first men blood into White Walkers, and I think like Craster, like he's a wildling, but he's still first men.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting seeing like.
No, I like that. I don't know what, like, I don't see the dragons motivating them because they were hostile. They were hostile even before the dragons were born. Remember, because they killed those rangers right for very first 15 minutes, right? So they're already making moves.
True. I don't know.
So what is it that motivates? Is it just the changing seasons? Is this season particularly like, okay, now it's time to launch, or like, I don't know.
See, that's what I hope with the White Walkers, is that we get this season. We might get more of their motives and like their culture. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's a guarantee. They're not bad.
yeah.
There's something about them.
It's like Transformers, like Decepticons. Like, yeah, they're bad if you're on the
Opposite side.
yeah. They're just, the intentions don't seem good to most people,
Yeah, well, it's like
but
they
they're
can't.
for self-preservation.
Yeah, well, it seems like when you look from it, like they can't breed. Like they almost have like a population crisis. They're trying to keep their species alive, and I think we're gonna figure out there's like an overarching reason why they're coming south, and I think it's because there's kind of a breach in a contract. I feel like this war has happened before, and they had an agreement where, okay, you go there and we go here, and I think the White Walkers built the wall, even though they say the first men did.
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of bunk. I think the White Walkers did, but it's like history, you know how it gets jumbled over time. And I think they broke some kind of rule,
Like a
in their
peace treaty,
contract.
basically.
Yeah, they broke some kind of something in the peace treaty, and that's why they're coming.
Yeah. No,
So
I
then
agree.
that
I
kinda-
agree. I agree with that theory. It's something is. It's all a misunderstanding, basically.
Yeah, but then it's like if you think like I think they built the wall, so everyone wants to think that the wall is going to come down. Do you think the wall will come down?
Yeah, I think that's the last shot of the entire thing.
Of season 6?
Is the breach of the wall.
That would be interesting if the wall came down season 6. That would be mind blowing.
I don't know if it'll come down. I think it has to come down to show like these guys mean business, and now there's literally nothing holding them back.
You know what? I actually like that. You know, I think there's definitely gonna be another hard home for season 6.
And it's just
It's gonna
those
be-
fucking Castle Black assholes getting their fucking paid paid what's due to them, basically. And
You know, yeah, I think that's cool.
devoured.
Yeah, I think the Night's King might bring down the wall. But and then there's the reuniting. You see Bran talking to or meeting up with the Mad King, or not the Mad King. What am I talking about? The Night's King. So obviously it's a vision.
I think it's like trying to think of. I always say Harry Potter and stuff like that. Like it's almost like cross telephone. Like Bran's in a Weirwood Tree. That
Right.
dude's using the Weirwood Tree. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Kind of like.
Oh, that's good, dude. That's a really good idea.
Like.
Dude, I think you just honestly, I never thought of that, and I think you just solved the mystery.
No, because this is was I was thinking. So if you think, I don't know if you've watched Lord of the Rings in a while.
No.
Frodo dons on the ring. He gets the magic power of the ring. It makes him invisible. But then Sauron's there, and he's like, "You got my ring on, boy." Like he can see him when he has the ring on.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's probably it, dude. Since they're like first men, they're White Walkers. They definitely have magic of their own. They probably have wargs. They probably are able to communicate with the Weirwood Tree.
Yeah.
And
He's
that's
using
probably,
it just for telecommunication.
totally. And that makes me think of something new now. I think you're gonna see Bran touching Weirwood Trees. You're gonna see his visions. I think you're gonna see a Ned Stark vision. I think you're gonna see him as a kid.
Mhm.
I think you're also gonna see the Tower of Joy,
For sure.
which is Jon's parentage, Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. You're gonna see the fight between them and the Targaryens,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna see Lyanna in a pool of blood with Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna see Jaime killing the Mad King,
Yeah.
and I think you're gonna see that kind of like a glimpse. And I think they showed you a glimpse in the trailer, right?
Do you think they'll use Jamie and just make him look young like they do in movies, or they'll use like a young blonde dude?
No, I hope they can totally use the real Jaime. They can age him down.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
He's
it looks like
Kingsguard,
those
which is
dudes that are marching. They look like young, like Stark dudes, like North dudes. So I feel like if they're not using, I don't even remember his name right now. If they're not using Ned as like with young paint on his face, then I don't think they would use Jamie with young paint on his face.
I think they would use Jaime because Jaime can actually be aged down. I hope they do Ned, or they use Sean Bean and make him look younger, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they would do it with Jaime.
Because we're talking, what, 20 years prior to the events that are happening now?
Yeah.
20 years, you think? Or like
something like that.
15?
I don't know. But then that makes me think, like, I think that broken telephone thing's totally right. I think that's literally going to be a scene. You're going to see him touching the Weirwood. I think you're going to see him maybe, like, watching over his, like, dad or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's going to be all peaceful. And he's going to be enjoying watching the scene with his dad and, like, fighting his brothers or whatever. And then, boom. He's going to be like, what the fuck? And he's going to turn around and he's going to be like, what the fuck is happening? Why am I all of a sudden snapped with all this snow?
Yeah.
And he's going to turn around and see the White Walker and it's going to freak him out.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be it. I think he's going to be looking at a vision and enjoying himself, and it's going to be a snap, and then all of a sudden he's going to be face to face with the Night's King.
Maybe it's a prophecy we don't even know from the Night's King side. Like, if he's seeing through Weirwood Trees, this is all now speculative. But maybe there, like we said, there's an oath that was broken, and he knows because he can see sort of around all of Westeros. Say like,
Yeah.
you guys were told not to change kings this many times and like all this shit. Like something pissed them off to do this move, unless something's threatening them.
Yeah, true. So that makes me think, what if Bran becomes the guy trying to deliver the message to make peace with the White Walkers?
Could be.
He's trying to communicate with Jon to like try and make peace between the whites and like that whole storyline.
Yeah, like make it right before you make it worse type of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like, there may be a time where Bran has to fight them for a bit, but then he's going to try and, make them make peace. Because I think, like we talked about earlier with the three dragon theory, I think, Jon Snow as a Targaryen, he's going to ride Rhaegon, and then Tyrion's going to ride Viserion. And Daenerys is going to ride Drogon. No, but what's cool about it is I think, nobody says this, but I think Dany's going to die. And the reason I think she's going to die is because in her visions, she's had a couple of visions where she goes into King's Landing and she sees a throne surrounded by snow. There's many connotations there. There could be a snow on the throne, which could be Jon, or just would be no throne or ruler at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then what interests me the most is when she comes out into the wall, and she's at the wall near Castle Black, and she sees Khal Drogo, and she sees her son at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard anyone say this. I think that was telling us that she's going to see her family at the wall. It's telling us that she's going to die at the wall and she's going to go see her family, you know, like in heaven or like whatever.
Like she moves on.
Symbiotically or what symbology, whatever the hell the word is.
Yeah. Symbolically.
I think that's like the way they're going with that. And I think Jon's going to be the one to have to kill her. I think the reason for that is that we've already seen him try and be a peacekeeper, and I think he's gonna try and do the same with the White Walkers and the humans. And I think Dany is gonna be like, what are you doing? I want to be the ruler. I need to save my people. And she's gonna go crazy and try and just kill all the whites, which you really can't blame her for, but it's gonna be a conflict where he's like, you're technically killing innocents. They're different than us, but they're innocent.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stop her.
Yeah, and maybe that's how they raised the wall to begin with, was some sort of king's blood ritual.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna happen. It's getting epic. We're getting pretty deep here.
Yeah, we're going, whoa, deep.
Nerd alert.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
I don't know like how many people you think would stick through this whole thing, but thank you if you have.
People as nerdy as us.
Yeah.
But let's go over to Winterfell with Sansa, all right? So Sansa's been a character I've been iffy about. You can't blame her for her being kind of like a pushover. She's kind of been molded to be that way when she was young, but now she's kind of turning into this character I really like.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting manipulative and she's getting, stronger, and I feel like you're going to see a huge shift with her now that she's away from Ramsay. What do you think her arc's going to be?
I don't know. I don't know. If she goes... I don't have much for her because I don't really care for her story. I feel like she sort of brought it on herself in this case, like with her love of Joffrey, and now she's realizing it wasn't worth it, right? So that's her coming of age story. So now that she's realized what she needs to do, it's just like straightforward, rally the bannermen and go after the fucking asshole that has harmed her most recently. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think she has some epic fate in all this, like the rest of the Starks. Like, I don't see it, or at least I'm not seeing it.
Right.
Like, she's just sort of listened to Baelish, got put in this Ramsay situation, and obviously was totally awful to her. So now it's just like what does she do? There hasn't been any hints of her abilities.
Yeah.
As even like, leave magic out of it, I don't see her being like a strong leader or anything like that. I feel like she got sort of typecast as like the princess in the castle type of thing. So unless she comes out kicking ass, which would be awesome, I just don't see much with her. So I haven't really gave her much thought.
No, see, I think this is her most important season because she's a Stark, and her whole role is going to be gathering the bannermen. And I think that she's going to be a heavy hitter. She's a Stark. And I think she's going to reunite with Rickon. I feel like on her journey, you're actually going to see the actor who played Rickon. You're going to see Osha, who took Rickon to House Umber. I think she's going to go to House Umber, and you're going to see Rickon. However, I think Rickon is going to eat it.
I think he's going to die? Because I was going to say, I think that unfortunately, she'd be a victim of her times if Rickon showed up, and they would just cast her aside, and this little boy would be the Warden of the North. You know what I mean? So
yeah, true.
Like, that's what I mean. There's all these people that just talk over her, and it's unfortunate because she should be a strong character, and everything that has led up to it should make her a strong character. But you have Theon's weirdness now overshadowing her just her being herself. And
See,
like,
I think now she's really going to step it up, and I
hope so.
She is in line to be the Wardeness of the North. Even though I think Jon, I don't know if Jon's going to stay a Snow, or he's going to be a Stark, or he's going to be a Targaryen. I don't know what. I don't think anyone's going to know he's a Targaryen.
It's crazy. I don't think he'll say he's a Targaryen ever. I think it's just important for the story.
As a Stark. I think he'll always refer to himself as a Stark.
Oh, should we bring up my term that I came up? Is that what you're trying to get out of me?
Oh, Starkarian. What is it?
Starkarian?
Starkarian?
Yeah,
nice.
He's a Starkarian. Like, I don't think that matters anymore. It's just, he's important because he's important. He's the chosen one of this whole story. The Song of Ice and Fire is all about him. And
no, but I think...
that's it. Like,
yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I think that's where the surprise comes. What?
At least in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Song of Ice and Fire, I think that's Jon Snow. But I think with... I think we're going to get a shock with Rickon and Osha. They're gonna be around for like an episode or two with Sansa, and then I think there's gonna be a reveal, the Battle of the Bastards, that in the trailer we've seen a bunch of people on the X's, the crosses, or what are those called? The
flayed men. I don't know. Like, it's not a crucifix. Yeah. I don't know what you call an X one. It looks like World War II dragon teeth.
Yeah, I think Rickon and Osha are gonna be a part of that. I think they're gonna be burned at the stake. I think Roose Bolton will also, and his wife will be burned. I think Ramsay will want to take over Winterfell.
You think he's gonna kill his dad type of thing?
Yeah, which takes over what he said. He said, "Winterfell's mine. Come and take it." And I think it is his because he kills Roose, and I think he might want Jon Snow's body to prove that he's dead. And I think he'll send. And then when he finds out that he's alive, he might send him a letter or something that says Winterfell's mine, come and take it, or whatever. It's like or just to all the bannermen in general, just to kind of challenge them and say, I'm your Warden of your North now. If you want to challenge me, go ahead. You're going to lose, but now I'm the Warden.
Winterfell is mine. Come and see.
See, like, for you, I feel like you think that Jon's resurrection is so, like, public knowledge. I feel like it's going to be revealed in that scene where they battle. Like, Jon's going to just show up with cavalry that maybe he caught up with the wildlings after he got resurrected and saying, like, hey, it's time to go, guys. Like, we got fucking the real threat on our heels. I don't care what's in front of us. We're just going to dominate it. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck them. Fuck Winterfell. Okay? Those guys are being assholes. They're not rallying to the real cause. Fuck them. You know what I mean? And then boom, they run into Sansa and say, no, this guy needs to get some. And he's like, okay, let's kill those guys and then we move down. Like, we don't care about Winterfell anymore. We don't need it, or maybe we need it strategically in the war against these things. But I don't picture him leaving his sister there in charge of like holding off these zombie dudes.
No, I think it's first like the Battle of the Bastards is going to be the battle for Winterfell, and then when the White Walkers come, it's going to be more of the battle to save Winterfell and the world. Yeah.
Like, do you really think, though, it's them squaring off against each other? I feel like it's going to be them, all the bannermen trying to get Winterfell back.
I think it's going to be a full-blown fight.
And then Jon shows up with cavalry.
Jon's going to get I think it's literally going to be a full-blown, it's going to be the first actual war we're going to see. It's probably going to be like a 50-minute war. And it's going to be, Jon Snow's going to get the wildlings with Tormund. He's going to get all the bannermen from like Sansa and Davos that they're going to gather. And they're just going to march up and they're going to go full-blown war. And I think you're going to get classic cinema where near the end you're going to see Ramsay fight Jon. And I think Ramsay's toast in this one. The reason why I think Ramsay's dead is because you need to wrap that story up, because now it's the White Walkers, right?
Yeah. It's like, picture it like, this is what I picture in my mind. Everybody, that's kind of assuming that everybody knows the map of Westeros. Is like, everything's at the top in the north. You get everything above the wall is just, it's almost like a lit wick on an old school cartoon bomb. So that wick that's lit is the White Walkers, and they're slowly making their way down. So
yeah,
I don't see a need for Winterfell anymore, because unless it's a hold against them, and they're constantly going to try and battle them at all these keeps that go down, like the Vale and all these things. But it's like they're just going to constantly have to retreat. And that's why Sam, I think he needs to be in Old Town, because that's going to be sort of like the saving grace. Like, I've got it. Like, we've figured it out. And it's just everything's going to get destroyed as they go down. And that's why I feel like the last scene will be the wall getting destroyed, to show how important this really is.
And this is the last season without a focus on White Walkers. The next season is going to be so White Walker focused.
That's what I mean. Like, there's only 7 books, he says. So this is the winter coming, maybe even starting. Maybe, like, when you see Baelish, maybe that's somewhere where you thought was the north, but it's actually now winter.
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows, right?
But yeah,
like, it's definitely coming, and it's you don't want to be hanging out up north, though. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. And then so while Sansa's going around gathering bannermen, what's Theon doing?
Reek! My name is Reek.
He's, what's he called? Reek? He's Reek for her now. I
Really?
don't think he's trying to muster up anything. He's too ashamed of himself. I don't think he's got any confidence back yet.
I think it's going to be... so I think they're going to be escaping. Obviously, they're going to be escaping first episode. And then I think maybe around the 3rd episode, they kind of get their feet on the ground. I think Theon is actually going to leave. I think Sansa's going to be like, just like, you've been through enough. Just go to your family. Like, you've done enough here.
You saved me, but I still hate you, you dick.
Yeah, just get out of here. So he's going to be like, okay. So then he's going to go there.
Actually, no, she doesn't hate him too bad. She can't hate him too bad.
I know, but still, it's like...
He's a dick for doing what he did, but he fessed up to not killing her little brothers.
Yeah, but regardless, either he wants to and she lets him, or like, I don't even know. I think he's going to end up going back to the Iron Islands. I think his sister Yara, this is something from the books where Yara actually uses Theon because their father, Balon Greyjoy, was killed. I think he was killed by Euron Greyjoy. And then it's this huge fight for who's going to be the king of,
like
whatever the
Lord is, or Jarl, or whatever.
Yeah, and then Yara wants to use Theon to rule through Theon because she's a woman, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the whole thing. And they don't know that Theon has no penis. So I think she's going to be using him.
Well,
but there's also something...
They mailed it to them.
But there's also something interesting that I noticed with Yara, is if you look in the trailers, she's making out with a woman with a tear on her face.
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from?
Probably Essos or something. Exotic.
Exactly. They brand the slaves with what they are.
Yeah.
Prostitutes are given a tier, which means she's going to Essos.
Mm-hmm. Or
so
those people could have been brought in from Essos.
Disagree. I don't think that would happen. There's no slavery in Westeros. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but they're kind of like pirates. They're like pirate dudes.
Yeah, but there's only slavery in Westeros.
I know. I'm not trying to. I'm just playing devil's advocate, right?
No, I know. I get it. But like, she might be going down there to make terms with Daenerys.
I have a hard time seeing that, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah, true. So that's what's going on with Theon and Yara. They're probably going to be at the Iron Islands. I think Yara's going to end up going down there to see Daenerys. But then we haven't talked about Brienne yet.
Yeah.
In the trailers, we've seen her in 2 places. We've seen her at River Run, where the Tullys are.
Yeah.
She's probably going to reunite with Blackfish. We haven't seen Blackfish for, I think, a whole season.
Yeah.
Do you remember who he is?
Isn't it Catelyn's, like, uncle?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to her, like, cousin who married the chick at that wedding?
See, I don't know. He disappeared, which is, like, it's kind of funny how the guy just disappears and then his cousin and nephew get murdered.
Yeah, like, did he get locked? I guess that's something that might get tied up.
Yeah, so I don't know where the hell he is. But why is Brienne there? It makes me... Who is she working for? And why is she there? Because her main task right now is to protect Sansa.
Sansa's going to send her there, maybe. But I don't know why.
But then you also see her in the trailer at a Lannister camp where Jaime's leading the charge.
Yeah.
because you see, the reason why I'm connecting the dots is because Podrick gets choke held at a Lannister camp, which I'm pretty much bet it's Bronn,
Yeah.
because Bronn and him have a history.
Yeah. Like, it's like a friendly chokehold, like, hey, how you doing, kind of thing.
Exactly. But so you have Brienne at the Tullys, but also at the Lannister camp.
Well, I was going to
So-
say, I think she's only really important because of that sword she's carrying. That sword's going to be important down the line. It
Right.
was ice, right?
Right.
Made into two swords. I don't know who got the other sword, I forget. But her sword's definitely important. So maybe she'll be a White Walker killer as well because of her
But
sword.
what if she gets into a crazy ethical dilemma? What if she pledges her sword to Sansa, her sword which was Jaime Lannister's, and Sansa tells her to go kill Jaime Lannister?
It could be. Right?
You know? And then she's there and she doesn't know what to do, and she's at the camp, and then she doesn't know whether to stay with Jaime or go be with Sansa. So it's like this huge...
Yeah, because I forgot she
thing.
sort of plays for both camps. Because
Yeah,
she
'cause
could
it's
walk
like-
into a Lannister camp and they wouldn't think anything of it. And she
Yeah,
could
'cause
walk
she's-
right into
yeah.
the Starks camp and they... Same thing. She'd have
Yeah,
to
and she's
explain
been through a
herself.
lot
but-
with Jaime.
Yeah.
Like, she's been through a lot with Jaime, right? And she's like, you know, she's noble, she does the right thing, but like, yeah, it's hard to figure out like what she would choose or what she wants to do.
Like, for me, I'm hoping that it's my theory that maybe she's the one that can talk Jaime into sending reinforcements up north for these White Walkers. Hey,
Well, maybe I'm thinking maybe Jaime's gathering the men and the Freys to go help Petyr Baelish take Winterfell from the weakened party.
yeah, could
Imagine them saying, this Jon Snow bastard took wildlings. Like, how dare he befriend the wildlings? And he took Winterfell. Like, we need to take that back. So Jaime gathers his men to go, and then Sansa tells her to go kill Jaime, and then
just
Brienne
go
to kill Jaime.
make peace almost. Like,
Yeah.
he only took Winterfell because something worse is coming.
Yeah.
Because it's
So
like
then-
I don't think John's resurrection is gonna be such public knowledge. Like, he's just leaving. He's gonna stealth out of the Night's Watch.
But is his death really public knowledge, too?
No, I don't think his death is either, unless
Yeah,
they
but-
send word that there's a new Lord and Commander on the wall.
Yeah. But then it's like you could get some crazy like I think you're gonna see some crazy people like reuniting or coming together. Like what if she goes to see Jaime, but then Arya is tasked to kill Jaime Lannister, and what if they all meet in this one room and only one walks out?
Yeah, sort of like
Okay.
what happened with the Shadow.
Yeah, like it'd be like this crazy thing. Like imagine Arya killing Brienne and Jaime, where she's like this beloved character, but she also kills two loved characters.
Could be. It's like it's so open, right? We don't even know. Arya could be like, fuck this cult. I'm out of here. I'll take the training and get out of here. It's so crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many avenues.
I know, which is crazy. So that's why I want to look over just like final thoughts on the season and just overall theories that we pretty much touched on. I just want to kind of recap them. So for me, there's Sandor Clegane coming back as the Hound. I think that Sam's probably going to reunite with him. Do you think that's happening or no?
My thing for Clegane, I literally wrote this out, and I said, Clegane living, but only a subtle hint to it. So I said, almost like the end of Batman where Alfred sees him in the cafe.
Yeah, it
And
gives
he's
him like
just
a
like,
nod.
winks to the camera. Like, not obviously that campy, but almost like you hear a word of this burnt-faced guy
Yeah.
being good somewhere else, you know what I mean?
Some man just want.
I heard something from the books, like he supposedly goes off to some, like, monk place, some
Like
island.
some peaceful dude.
Yeah,
Fuck the king.
yeah.
But
Like, he just escapes the rest of the Westeros drama. He's away, he's peaceful, he's doing good now because he learned a lesson from Arya by that mercy.
Yeah. 3 heads of the dragon. You think that's a bunch of bullshit?
No, I think there's some merit to it, but I don't think it will see itself through, because I think people will die before it sees itself through. It will say that it is, but people are still going to die on this. It's not going to get out. It's not going to be a clean victory for one side or the other. There's only going to be one person standing.
I think it's going to happen, but it's going to be very expensive. Oh, like how many episodes? Like how would they even do that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
But yeah, and then Dany's vision. So there's a lot of these visions that you got to pay attention to. You got the throne covered in snow.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? What does that mean? Does that mean that no one's going to sit on the throne, or does that mean a snow is going to sit on the throne?
Like icy winter, or like that same vision. It's almost like the King's Landing's destroyed though.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like it's snowing in through the roof of that huge room. So it's so left up in the air for that, because it's the existential threat's got to get sorted out. Would it still be the Iron Throne after all that happened, or the guy that saved the world gets whatever friggin' throne he wants and he can put it whatever city he sees fit?
Yeah, and the idea is that, like, the main thing I pull from this is that the throne is still standing. There are a lot of people who think that the throne is going to be melted down to make Valyrian steel to fight the White Walkers.
Yeah, that's a good thing too, because it was burnt that way, right?
Yeah, it would be a cool idea though. Finally burning down the throne that like started the whole thing.
That's what I mean.
Kinda
Like everybody that's against each other needs to start coming together in order to fight the real threat. So
yeah, and then she walks out of the throne room and goes at the wall, which I said I've never heard anyone say this. I think that means that she's gonna see her family and she's gonna die at the wall.
yeah,
What do you take from that?
take from your theory on that.
No, just take from like when you saw Dany see her family at the wall. Did you think of that, or were you thinking of something totally different?
I think
That's what
it could be. It's all symbology, so as she could just die at the hands of the White Walkers, because
Yeah.
that's like where it ends for her, and the wall is maybe symbolic of you're not getting past this stage of whenever you meet these guys, you don't have it in you to get past these guys. It takes a lot more than just being a queen to defeat these guys. There's something that needs to happen, and like you said, I think we both had the same feeling. Like these White Walkers aren't in it for ruling; they're in it for a misunderstanding,
Surviving.
and surviving. Something was broken, some oath, something.
Yeah, true. And then finally, we've already seen this. It's a theory. R plus L equals J. The Tower of Joy. We've already seen footage of Targaryens fighting the Starks. It's confirmed. It's definitely happening.
Did you see the flashback thing that they were talking about?
What flashback?
I don't know. It's a YouTube video that's going around where it shows Elio was his name that teaches. Did you see this?
I don't know.
So Elio was a guy. I don't know his full name. Elio was the guy that taught Arya at King's Landing in the first season how to fight the water.
Serial.
Serial. That's his name.
Serial for real.
And Ned walks in on them training, and he's having a good time. Like, oh yeah, like she's
No, I know.
awesome.
I was thinking about that too. And then she puts her hands up,
Yeah.
and she gets stabbed, and then she kind of like dies.
And it focuses on his face, and he's like, whoa, like full on PTSD moment, right?
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
No, and exactly. That's what I was gonna say with Arya and her fate is that, like I said it earlier, like she's not gonna die until she meets Melisandre, but she's gonna die, and then that's what makes me so upset is because I like this character so much, but it's like it totally hinted at it.
Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. Eyes you'll shut forever.
I see her dying like in the end, season 7, season 8, like actually at the end in the fight, which makes me wonder, do you think that she's actually gonna warg into maybe her wolf Nymeria, which she lost in season 1.
See, that for me would be totally dope, but I really don't think they're going to press magic too much. Because people don't really like the magic, I find. And that's why they try and water it down.
Yeah, totally. It would be pretty sick, though, because I know Nymeria had, like, a wolf pack, and they, like, hopefully would, like, end up fighting all the White Walkers. It would be sick, but I don't know. It's kind of fan service, but we'll see.
Yeah, see, well, I'm hoping they'll give me my side of the fan service and give me a lot more Bran wizardry magic stuff.
I think he'll be the main
season.
focus for, like, the first episode. But, like, speaking of that, what do you think is going to happen in Season 6, Episode 1 with every character?
So we sort of battled on this, but I've sort of come to the grips with Jon being revived in the first episode.
It's funny that you're okay with that, because now I think he's going to be revived in the 3rd episode.
Yeah, we gotta switch roles on this. I just feel like, with the knowledge that there's not going to be that many more episodes, shit does need to get going, but they have to do it in such a way where they show the reason why he's the one to be resurrected. And I feel like it's going to be that bird's eye view, zooms in on his face, and then not to show him wake up or anything, but it's going to show, boom, flashback to this Robert's Rebellion, R plus L equals J. It's going to wrap that stuff up and then give us the reason why he needs to be resurrected. This is all pressing things. And I think it's going to even zoom out further, and it ends up being Bran learning the truth. And I think that's pretty much going to be the whole theme of this season, is Bran is like sort of like the general above the battlefield, and he's learning all the pieces that he has in front of him.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Bran's really important. And then any other characters, do you have any ideas what happens to them?
I do, but we would be here for hours.
Alright, well, I'll give you what I think. So season 6, episode 1, I think it's going to be a main focus on the wall. You're going to have Davos defending Jon's body with the loyal Night's Watch members, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes me nervous, though, is in the trailers you can see Ed.
Yeah.
And I want Ed to be there. I really like Ed. But I think Melisandre's going to, like, they're going to get Jon, they're going to save Jon, and then Melisandre's going to try and do her magic and save him. I think it's going to kind of be a cop-out. I don't think she's actually going to, it's not going to end up working. And then she's going to doubt herself even more. And then I think you'll see Arya. I think you'll see her on the streets. I think you'll see her getting beaten up by that chick. I forget what her name is. She'll get kind of put in her place. It's pretty much everyone's going to be recovering after season 5. You're going to be seeing Theon and Sansa. They're going to be running from Ramsay. Maybe get rescued by Brienne. And then that's what makes, save Sansa. Excuse me. And she's able to, go and rally the Bannermen.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sansa, Theon, definitely meeting up with Brienne.
Yeah, and then Dany, I think pretty much her, she's just going to be beaten up in the first episode. You see in the trailers, they, take her in. They, rip off her clothes in front of the cow.
She's a slave now.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see her, really down on her luck at the end of episode 1. And then you're going to, I think this episode is going to start with Bran.
Yeah.
And it's going to, kind of show him seeing things. And then it's going to take you back to Jon. And it's going to totally be, I agree, the bird's eye view thing. And then Bran's going to see the Tower of Joy. The Blood Raven's going to be with him. He's going to show him the truth. And then they're going to say, Jon has a part to play in the wars to come. And then they're going to resurrect Jon. And I think the reason for that is because they know the truth. They know, all that stuff, whereas Melisandre's kind of unsure.
Yeah.
And I think it would be interesting for Bran to bring back his brother.
Yeah, it would be good. I hope that's it. I hope they stretch it out.
Yeah. So, really quick, do you have top 5 characters you think are untouchable in this season and top 5 that are going to die?
The obvious one's Jon, because it's the antithesis.
He's coming back.
Yeah, right? So
imagine if he got brought back and then died.
I don't know if he's on your list, but it's let's get that out of the way. Bran, too important. He's not going to die, at least this season. unless it's at the very end. But I think he's last. He's like Xavier. That's how I picture him.
I don't think Bran's never gonna die. I think he's always gonna be in that tree.
Yeah, he's Xavier. He's always gonna be around.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not really true for Xavier. But Tyrion, untouchable this season. Arya, I think untouchable for this season. Dany, and I put Varys. I know he's not like a front and center character.
I can't picture Varys dying.
No, he will always he's like a bar of soap. He'll always sort of slip through the grips of anyone.
Baelish, yeah.
And then a bonus is obviously Sam. I don't think he's dying this season at all. If they even show him.
We have the same list, pretty much. Obviously, Arya, because she hasn't met up, she's not going to be up with Melisandre. Tyrion, Daenerys, Jon, because they're the three heads. Sam, because he has a part to play in getting the information. Bran, obviously, is going to live forever. And I think Tormund. I thought about Tormund dying. I really like him. But he has to last this season. He's going to fight the White Walkers. The reason he has to live is because he's the leader of the Wildlings. They need the Wildlings to fight the bastards.
Yeah. You don't picture him dying at this battle?
No, I think he's going to die with the White Walkers.
Because they could kill him after this battle because it would have proved loyalty during the battle. You know what I mean? Like, he was the one fighting. So I don't think they'll need to rally them after the fact.
True.
Because they're all pointed in the right direction anyways.
Yeah. So then that being said, who do you think is going to die? Guaranteed death.
Top of my list, Cersei's dead. I think she'll last most of the season, but I think she's dead near the end.
Wow.
Tommen. I think Brienne's dying this season. Sparrow. And Ramsay. Ramsay's dead probably within... I would even wager within the first 4 episodes, Ramsay's dead.
Ramsay Bolton is dead within the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, is my prediction. And then I put a little bonus, because I said it sort of at the beginning. Margaery and Loras are dead.
Okay. It's funny how we're thinking similarly. I said Tommen. Tommen's toast.
Toast.
I said Brienne too. I find it funny how we both said Brienne. And honest to God, I put Brienne, and the reason I think she's gonna die is because I think she's gonna be with Jaime, and I think something's gonna go down, and I think she'll end up dying.
Well, I think they just need the sword. Like, that sounds awful, but they need that sword, and that sword needs to come into the people who are fighting. She could end up being on the front lines against these things, but I don't know.
And I think Rickon and Osha, they haven't been around in a while, but they're definitely dead. I think Ramsay will kill him. Loras, I think Loras is toast. But Ramsay, we disagree on Ramsay. Ramsay's definitely going to die this season. He has to, because the focus has to be on the White Walkers next season.
Mm-hmm.
But Ramsay needs to fight in the Battle of the Bastards, and that's going to be episode 9.
You think
Gotta be.
You think that's the penultimate episode, is the Battle of the Bastards?
100%. It's going to guarantee 50-minute fight, probably.
Wow.
It's going to be Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton. At the end of the fight, or during the fight, you're going to see Jon fight Ramsay, and Jon will kill Ramsay.
So we think we both are in agreement that he's going to die, but not duration wise. You don't think he's going to last a lot longer than what I think.
Exactly. And then I think the end of that's going to result in like Petyr Baelish and Sansa and Jon in Winterfell negotiating on what's going to happen, where they're going with. Jon's going to not want to be the Lord. Baelish is going to make the argument Sansa's not fit to lead Winterfell, seeing she's a woman.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that'll be interesting. But so we got we're going to do points for that. If any of your characters survive that you said are going to die, you're going to lose points. You're going to get points if the characters you said actually die, and you're going to lose points if somebody you said is going to live actually dies.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll see who comes victorious at the end of this roundup.
I like it.
But that being said, I'm very excited. We'll see you guys. Game of Thrones, Season 6, Episode 1 roundup. Coming at you with Max here.
Trev here.
That's like the weirdest outro I think I've ever done.
But I was going to say, a lot less of a duration, hopefully, because I think we're pushing 2 hours at this point.
Well, we had 5 years of Game of Thrones to catch up with.
Yeah, it's true.
There's an exception, but All right, guys.
And if you made it to this point, you are a true fan. And thank you very much. Not of just Game of Thrones, but of BuzzTox, and we thank you.
See you guys.